Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I am tier ranking all the books I've read. I've only read 90 books this entire lifetime of mine, and I want to tier rank them because I'm obsessed with these videos. I've watched quite a few people now tier rank either all the books they read last year or all the books they've read in general, and I want to join. So for the tiers, I've got This Changed My Life. Obviously this is going to be like a 6-star read, the best book ever, blah blah blah. Then I've got I Love It. It was a great time, loved it, not exactly like brain chemistry altering, but a good read. A good time, chill, kind of a 3 and above star book. Didn't hit for me. That might be like it's a good book but just didn't work for me, or I just didn't really like it. And then I Hate It. Obviously that's a book that just was a big fat no from me. These books are not in order of me reading them, they are just in a list. As you can see, they're all there, and I'm just gonna put them in their tiers as we go on. So let's get started, and we are starting off very good with Heartless. So Heartless, I loved it. It wasn't like it didn't change my life, but I did love it. So I'm gonna put it in love it. I think I rated it like 4 or 5 stars, so pretty good. We Were Liars. I read this ages ago. This is the one thing. I read these books ages ago, some of them. So I think We Were Liars, from what I remember, it was a good time. Nothing like crazy, but it was a good time. You Deserve Each Other. I loved that book. I still remember that book. Loved it. They both die at the end. Did it change my life? No, but I did love it. I'll put it in I Love It. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever read, whereas some of these things are. Everything, This Changed My Life. I loved this book and I loved the film so much. I think I read this book well within like 24 hours. I was just turning each page religiously. So yeah, this is gonna have to go in This Changed My Life. Eleanor and Park. I don't think I loved this book. I think it was like very meh. So I'm going to put it in Didn't Hit for me. It Ends With Us. Now, I feel like weird about these books because I'm not a Colleen Hoover stan anymore. If you don't know, I don't really know what the controversy is, but I don't know, some of her writing just didn't sit well with me. It Ends With Us, I did love it at the time. Now, I would not read it again, but I loved it at the time. Maybe I put I love it, but like, I wouldn't read it again. And I wouldn't read any of her books anymore. I don't know. Do I put it in? Do I do what I feel right now? Yeah, okay, I'll put it on I Hate It. Heartstopper, I love all the Heartstopper books. I'm gonna put A Good Time because I loved it so much, but it wasn't, I don't know, the Heartstopper books are like comics, so I didn't feel like that emotionally invested because it's such a short book. I read them all in like 2 hours. Beach Read, I loved it so much. I just love Emily Henry and I loved Beach Read. The Hating Game, I loved this as well. Yeah, no, I loved this. Ugly Love, I don't even remember this book, but I'm gonna put in I Hate It just because. Heartstopper, going back in A Good Time. I've got some self-help books in here because in like 2021, 2022, I read a lot of self-help, and 101 Essays That Will Change Your Life did change the way you think, did change my life. So gonna put that up there. Same with Atomic Habits, loved that. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that changed my life. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Frick, I think that was more of a good time. I remember that took me ages to read. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, oh my god, still to this day one of the best books I've ever read. I loved it so much. If you've not read this, I urge you to read this. I feel like this book is just so cool and amazing for anyone to read. So 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, 10 out of 10. Punk 57. I was looking at my Goodreads rating and I said I hated it. I don't even remember this book, but I'm going to go with what I used to think, and apparently I hated it. Girlhood, I remember loving. I cannot remember if this is self-help or a like non-fiction book. From what I remember, I really liked it. The Kiss Quotient, I can never really say that. Quotient? I loved it. It was a really good time. I really liked it. The Mountain Is You, changed my life. Love that book. I really want to reread these books because I've not read self-help in ages, and I used to freaking only really read self-help. Surrounded by Idiots, I hated that book so much. I had to literally force myself to read it. Orbiting Jupiter. I don't think this hit for me. I think it was like good, but I just wasn't vibing with it. The Marshmallow Test. I think this was fine. It's about like testing your self-control, and I think I was like, yeah, whatever. Read it, didn't really think about it again. The Flat Share. Loved it. I do love Beth O'Leary. I've got a couple more of her books and I loved it. Loved The Unhoneymooners. Loved that book. Really recommend. Oh, Tessa Bailey. See, I loved It Happened One Summer. I read that book so fast. I really enjoyed it. Since then though, Tessa Bailey has kind of flopped. Loved that book. Not that I've read... Have I read any since then? I'm not sure actually. Some of the blurbs and some of just the way, I don't know, the reviews I've had and The Courage to Be Disliked. I think, again, this was like fine, but didn't really hit. It was just about like confidence, and I felt like it was a bit repetitive. How to Heal or How to Deal with Toxic Thoughts. I can't quite remember what the full title is. Really liked that. I remember it being very wholesome. I'm loving how many books I loved. This is good. Oh, this was a money book, The User's Guide to Money. I'm pretty sure that was a good time. I read it when I was like 17. I don't really know why I needed to read it when I was 17. You are a badass at making money. I think, again, good time. All of these self-help books, I'm like, you know? The Four Agreements. I don't even remember. I'm gonna say it was a good time. Can't quite remember. I remember the ones I really didn't like. And then we've got Harry Potter and the Philosopher's... Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I read all the Harry Potter books in 2022 to early 2023. It was so fun reading those books. I've seen, obviously, the films so many times, and reading the books was so lovely. It took me a while, I can't lie, because some of the books were long, and because I'd read the books after watching the films, I was almost like waiting for the things in the films to happen. I always, with books and films, would rather read the book first then watch the film, 1,000,000%, because you get so much more in a book than you do a film. But I did not read them when I was younger, and I watched the films first. It took me a while to read them, but they are the coziest, most wholesome, well, not wholesome, but coziest, most nostalgic books to read. I would love to reread them when I have like the willpower to, because it did take me a while, like I said, to get through these books, but I love them. So I'm going to put This Changed My Life. It was so cute. Then we've got The Last Act of Adam Campbell. This was a sad book, but I did really like it. This follows a man who has been told he's got cancer, I'm pretty sure, and then it follows like his last act, and he joins like a acting group or like theatre group, I guess, with a bunch of other people who are suffering with various illnesses, etc. It's a sad book, but I really loved it. I got really into it. I'm gonna put this in I loved it. I love it. Oh, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I freaking hated this book. This was like a 200-page book from what I remember, or it was a short book, and it took me like 3 weeks to read it. I thought this book was just the most stuck up thing in the world, and it's about how to win friends and influence people. So not gonna lie, don't think the book worked for me. May have worked for other people. I just remember reading this book and like getting angry because of some of the suggestions. And I remember some of the suggestions being like, you know, go up to someone and just say hello. And I'm like, in the real world, is anyone doing that? Like in just public, you're just gonna walk up to someone and say hello? I don't think so, babes. I really don't. So I did not like that book at all. Then Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I loved it. I know there's one of the Harry Potters which I didn't love so much. I can't remember which one, so I might just put them all in I love it. I just love reading the books. I cannot recommend enough reading your childhood like most watched childhood film book if you can, if that makes sense. Like I watched the Harry Potter films on repeat growing up, so being able to read the books was such a special experience. And obviously they're such iconic books as like on their own. Obviously I'm not a massive supporter of, what's the author called? J.K. Rowling, of course. I'm not a massive fan of her because of the whole transphobic stuff, but I did love the books so much. So I'm just going to put them all in I love it. Then we have Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I did like this book. I remember liking the concept. I just don't like Colleen Hoover anymore. I'm just gonna have to put it and I hate it. Sorry. Obviously putting the 2 Harry Potters in, I love it. Then we've got Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm not gonna lie, I loved this book. No, because this was probably my favourite. I'm gonna put it in a good time. I wouldn't read it again, but I did like the concept. I thought it was quite a cool book. Icebreaker. I'm going to put this in this It Changed My Life because this is when I fell in love with ice hockey romances, and now I am an ice hockey romance stan. You will see in some of the upcoming books. I loved Icebreaker. It was such a eye-opening experience of a book because I had never read anything like it before, and then obviously it went in and I was just so here for it. Then of course we've got A Court of Thorns and Roses. This has to go in This Changed My Life. This is what got me back into reading. I don't think anyone can read these books and not be like, this book changed my life. All of them, I just loved them so much. A great time. Then we've got Twisted Love and Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I liked them. Did I love them? I liked Twisted Love. I think I loved Twisted Love. That's the one with Alex Volkov or something. I really like that one. Twisted Games, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. Didn't love it though. It wasn't like, yeah, you know. Court of Wings and Ruins has to go up the top. A Court of Silver Flames was my favourite book, and maybe my favourite ever book. I loved it so much. Oh, where are you going? It was just 868 pages of pure bliss. I literally read it in like 3 days. I loved it so much. A Court of Frost and Starlight has to go at the top. And then A Deal with the Bossy Devil. I loved this book. I preferred Failure to Match, but I still loved this. I love a millionaire trope because obviously I'm not a millionaire, and it's one that I can just like let my imagination go and I'm like, woo! So I really liked these books. Spanish Love Deception. I can't lie, I feel like this book may have changed my life. This is what kind of got me into romance. Court of Thorns and Roses, Icebreaker and the Spanish Love Deception kind of switched my taste from self-help to then like girly pop books. I really loved the Spanish Love Deception. And then I don't remember reading these 2 books. Gilded Mess or Gilded Chaos and Golden Chaos. I'm just gonna put didn't hit for me. Don't remember reading them. I literally cannot tell you a single thing about this book. The 7 Year Slip. I feel so bad, but this book just did not hit for me. It was a good time, but I'm gonna put it in didn't hit for me because I had such high expectations and I just didn't love. No, it was a good time. I didn't hate it. I thought I was going to like it more though. It was don't know. Loved The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Obviously that's coming up, but 7 Year Slip just wasn't it for me. Then we've got The Alchemist. I'm gonna put this in a good time. I remember enjoying this book. Flawless by Elsie Silver. I loved it. I did really like it. Reckless. This is gonna have to go in This Changed My Life. If you have seen the video where I read Powerless and Reckless, you will know my thoughts and feelings on Reckless, Powerless, etc. It was an incredible time. I loved these books so much and I cannot wait for the 3rd one. I literally cannot wait. Pumpkin Spice Cafe did not hit for me. I didn't hate it, but it just did not hit, and I found the characters honestly really annoying. I didn't get on with this book at all. I gave it like 3 stars, more like a 2.5. It just, I thought it was cute and it was autumnal, don't get me wrong, but I just, I did not like it at all. Christmas Tree Farm though, on the other hand, I'm gonna say it was a good time. I did enjoy this film. I did enjoy this book way more. Obviously, not gonna lie, I don't think Laurie Gilmore writes like the most insane romances. It wasn't a bad time, but also I'm not gonna like think about it again. That was better. I found the characters more bearable, way more bearable. Yeah, I found the Christmas Tree Farm way better than the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Then Serpent and the Wings of Night. I've just recently started reading the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I really liked this. Did I love it? Or did it change my life? No, I just loved it. I do really love this series so far. I'm on to the 4th book, which I'm actually going to start tonight as I'm filming this. And then Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, I will add that to I love it. And then Six Scorched Roses. I loved this. This is a novella and it is so amazing. I really liked this as a novella. I haven't read that many novellas, but this was really good. I really liked it. And then Morbidly Yours. This was like a Asda pink for the breast cancer book, and it's a Halloweeny book, and I really liked it. It really shocked me. I thought this was going to be a very rom-com-y book, but I really enjoyed this, so I'm going to put it in I love it. Dead Romantics, I'm going to have to put this in God tier because I loved this book so much. The ending, the whole book, I thought was incredible. I think Ashley Poston just did a perfect job with this book. I thought it was incredible. So I'm gonna have to put this in It Changed My Life because, I don't know, I think about this book constantly and I feel like that is giving God tier, and This Changed My Life is the equivalent of God tier. My Vampire Plus One, again, this one shocked me. I loved this book. It was such a fun style of writing. Like, there was text, there were emails in the book. I really liked it. It follows a girl who is going to a wedding, needs a fake date or like boyfriend, and meets this vampire who's on the run from a group of vampire killers, and they have this deal, and it's so lovely. I really liked it, and this is the second book in a series. I've not read the first because I did not realise it was a series, so I definitely want to read the first, probably when it gets to like Halloween again. I really liked it though. It was really surprising. Bloodstream. Oh, I did not like this book at all. It was third person, which is not my favourite. The writing made no sense. There were so many plot holes and so many things just did not make sense. It was really painful, honestly. So I'm gonna have to put that in I hate it. I had to really push through to read this book. On the Same Page by Haley Cass, I think. This was a good time. Again, third person, not bad third person, but I felt like the ending was low-key a little bit predictable. I mean, that's fine with books, but I kind of knew what was going to happen and literally like exactly what was going to happen really early on, which then kind of lost my interest a little bit because I was like, I literally know exactly what's going to happen. But this is a sapphic romance, which is my first one I've read, and I really liked it. I thought the premise of the book was really cute and I liked the storyline. It got just quite predictable and I was just a bit like, oh, okay, I can see where this is going. Then The Fiancé Dilemma. I loved this book so much. I read this on the way up to my sister's back in October and I was hooked for like 2 days straight. I just read. I really liked this book. I thought it was very wholesome. It's like a marriage convenience type of trope, small town. I just thought it was really lovely. It was such a fun, giddy, kicking my feet type of book to read. Then we've got Wildfire. This, I might have to put this in didn't hit for me. It wasn't bad. I still rated it like I think 3 stars. It did not live up to my expectations. I had really good expectations and really high expectations after Icebreaker. Not it, babes. I just did not like the whole story. Like, it felt long. They felt to me that they were so much better off as being friends. So when the romance was happening, I was like, it feels forced. So personally, didn't love Wildfire. It wasn't a bad time though. I'm just thinking it didn't hit for me is more fitting. Wild Love. I loved this book so much. Love Elsie Silver. Love the Rose Hill series so far. Read both the books. Cannot wait for Wild Side. This was great. I loved it. And I also love the covers and the artwork of these books. I don't know what it is. It really scratches an itch in my brain. Wild Love and Wild Eyes. Really beautiful. Iron Flame. This is God tier. Iron Flame and Fourth Wing are God tier. I've literally got a tattoo of Violet's quote, "I will not die today," on my arm. Love Iron Flame and Fourth Wing so much. Right. These novellas, Merry Ever After, Cruel Winter with You, All by My Elf, Merriment and Mayhem, and Only Santa's in the Building. No. I will say Cruel Winter with You, good time. I liked that. I would have actually read the book. All of these other ones I did not enjoy at all. And then actually same thing. Escape for Christmas by Philippa Ashley. This book actually frustrated me. I did not have a good time at all with this book. I don't know what it was. I thought it was just the deadest storyline. This is a bit mean. I'm just going to say I just did not like it at all. It felt like the longest book in the world and it was like 350 pages. Powerless, God tier. I love Powerless. Powerless is probably my favourite book I read. No. No. Powerless is one of the favourite books I read in 2024. I read a lot of books in 2024. I love Powerless. Powerless, Reckless. Cannot wait for the third book. I'm just so excited for this year. The amount of releases coming out this year is so exciting. Then we've got The Fucking Wrong Number. I'm going to put A Good Time. I low-key didn't love this book, but then I also did love this book because I was on the edge of my seat the entire time trying to figure out what on earth was going on. It wasn't like kicking my feet giggling. This is a dark romance if you are not aware. It was an interesting, not creepy, but interesting book, but just low-key, why did I want to read more? Like, why am I excited to read the second book? I'm just going to put that in the middle because I don't really know what my feelings are. Then I've got Wild Eyes. Love it. Behind the Net. Love it. This is my favourite ice hockey... no, it's not. It's my second favourite ice hockey romance. Collide by Balcabra. Balcabra. Loved it. This exceeded my expectations. Again, I bought this. I can't remember why I had low expectations, but I had low expectations and it really excelled. I loved it. Pucking Around. Loved it. Another ice hockey. I'll be surprised. This was an interesting concept and an interesting storyline, but I was kind of with it. I kind of liked it. Maybe you should talk to someone. I freaking loved this book. This is going God tier. I just was so heavily invested in this book, and a really new concept. It's about a therapist and like her being a therapist. It was just so gripping. I just loved every second of it. So really, that is God tier. I would read that book again. Haunt Your Heart Out. I hated it. Can't lie. I had to force myself to read this book. It was so close to DNFing. This and Bloodstream. Actually, no. Most of the books in I Hate It, I had to genuinely force myself to not DNF because I don't like DNF. Failure to Match. I loved it. Oh my god, we've got two more, and they're my two top books, basically. The Fake Out is my favourite ice hockey romance ever. It was, I don't know what it just was perfect to me. Everything happened exactly how I wanted it to. Not in the way of like, it was predictable, just it went exactly how I wanted it to, and I just loved it. And then we are ending this video, which is crazy to me, with Fourth Wing. Probably my favourite book. I just loved this book so much. How many times have I said that? The concept, the storyline, Xaden and Violet, all the characters, everything that happened in this book, 10 out of 10. Was kicking my feet, giggling, scared, anxious, worried, stressed. I felt all the emotions in this book and I loved every second of it. Fourth Wing, A Court of Silver Flames and Powerless, probably my top 3 books ever I've read. So those are all the books I've read. I feel like I went through that so quickly, but I wanted to kind of do it rapid fire so I wasn't here for hours, because 90 books are a lot. That doesn't even look like 90 books either, but I promise it is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any opinions on the way I tiered my books, please feel free to let me know. I'm intrigued to see if anyone really disagrees with my thoughts and feelings. One of my Goodreads, it's in the description, as well as my Instagram, and I post all sorts of book content, so please subscribe so you can see more, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Kisses and hugs. Bye.